As some of you know, I'm a Longhorn. I went to UT during the days of the Southwest Conference, and at that time, the biggest game was always UT versus A&M on Thanksgiving Day. That tradition stopped after A&M moved to the SEC, but old traditions die hard. The Lone Star Showdown was reinstated in 2024. Score, Longhorns 17, Aggies 7. Okay, I believe last year was Longhorns, was that 27-17 against the Aggies? Was that right? Okay, sorry, Ralph. All right, my next guest told me, enjoy it while you can because they got plans. I met Michelle Elko at a girls' night out, and after I found out who she was, I still really like her. She's married to Texas A&M head coach Mike Elko. They came in to share the game plan that got them from humble beginnings to an Ivy League education, and the biggest play of all, scoring a dream job while always being each other's biggest cheerleader, or shall I say, yell leader. Mike and Michelle, thank you all so very much for joining us. You know, when it comes to sports,
sorry, I just wanted to be coach, and Michelle wanted you to have a nice glass
we're in the middle of the interview.
Oh, we appreciate that.
Room temperature, just like you like it.
I like it coming from an Aggie.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm so sorry. What about my water? Could I have some?
Here you go. There you go.
Oh. Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, well, as I was saying, you know, when it comes to sports, it's so cool because it's not just.
Howdy, Elco, if you want to fuel up for the season, we have a fighting Texas Aggie charcuterie.
Are you kidding me?
I love it. I love
Is
it.
all the food on there maroon and white? Seriously?
Oh yeah, there's not going to be any burnt orange carrots or bell pepper.
Oh, that's right, because
mango.
y'all engineered a carrot to be maroon, didn't you?
That's right.
Yeah.
Giggle.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Anyway, thank you, class of 2000. As I was saying, are you kidding me?
Aggies, go Army.
Are you
For sure, of course.
It's okay.
Oh my gosh.
The sun is orange too.
Yeah. Okay. Just let me know when y'all are ready. Any more?
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any more before we roll on with the interview?
We set all that up for you.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let me tell you how this all started.
Sure.
We were at a girls' night with Andrea Allen, friends of ours and friends of yours, and I remember in the corner of the room talking to you, and I thought, what a nice human being. And then I found out you were who you are, and I thought, you know what, it's okay, you thawed the ice between this Longhorn and the Aggies. No, but when we started talking about just what it took to get where you are, we oftentimes see you on the sidelines and we see coaches where they are. We don't know what it took to get there, so I would like to go through a little bit of that. And Mike, you had humble beginnings.
I did. My mom and dad had me at a very young age. I was an only child, and blessed that we had everything that we needed. But certainly they instilled in me school. That was really it. It was get an education and find a way to make your way in life.
Yeah, but football was a part of your life as well. We always think about Friday Night Lights as kind of a thing that happens in Texas or football in the South, but it was up there in New Jersey too. And you actually played on a field named after a family member.
Yeah, it was a really unique story. So my great uncle Mike Elko was the head football coach and head baseball coach at the high school where I ultimately went. He passed away from a heart attack the spring before I was born, and so I was born in July, named after him. And then they did a lot of memorials for him. So it was the Mike Elko Memorial Stadium. I told everyone it was named after me, but it wasn't in reality. And then we played, a unique story is we played every Thanksgiving for the Mike Elko Memorial Trophy, which our high school didn't win between the time I was born and my senior year when we won it for the first time. So it's pretty cool.
Senior year.
Yeah. And you had humble beginnings too. Grew up in small town, which you say a lot of those small town values kind of shapes how you've gone through your life. And a lot of those small town values also mirror what makes sports great.
For sure it does. Faith, family, and football, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Meeting. How did you two meet?
I'll let you take that one.
Are there different stories? Are there different variations?
There's one story, but she tells it better.
No. Incoming freshman nursing student, and my first party 2 weeks into going to UPenn, and I met Mike at a party, and that was it.
What was it about each other? What was it about each other that you were like, okay, this is my girl, this is my guy? Yeah. Aww.
She had on a set of overalls. I'll never forget that. And I kind of looked across the room and I saw her and I was like, I got to go talk to that girl. And we dated all through college, and and then kind of got proposed right after she graduated.
You know how many overalls you just sold as people go out on the dating scene? They're all gonna be like, this is the deal. You got to wear overalls to the clubs, ladies.
Nothing cuter than that. And now we're in Texas.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Oh my God. You mentioned that education was something that was very important to your parents, and you said they got married young, right? Had you young, and so knowing that education can kind of uplift you out of some things. You all went to Penn, which a lot of people might not realize is an Ivy League. UPenn, which is a Ivy League school?
Yeah, I think I got in the side door. Michelle got in the front door. I was a football player, so we had a little side door entrance that we could get in through. But went there and kind of went through the rigors of going to school at UPenn and did what no UPenn grad does and got into coaching.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. So when you went to UPenn, you went there with the thoughts of doing
nursing.
What? Okay. And you went with the thoughts of?
No idea. I went because I wanted to go play football and I was going to try to figure life out. And I tried business. I tried communications. I tried a lot of different things, and none of it really stuck. And so ultimately decided to get into coaching.
Yeah. All right. But some people said to you, do you really want to do that? I mean, you're at an Ivy League school. You have options.
Yeah. So I went in and talked to my head coach, and I said to him, I walked in, I said, hey, coach, I think I've decided I want to get into coaching. I was just wondering if maybe you could help me get a grad assistant position somewhere. And he said, no. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, no, you're not taking a Penn degree and getting into coaching. He said, I'll tell you this, go home, think about it. If you wake up tomorrow and you still want to do this, I'll figure it out for you.
Yeah.
And
what was it about coaching that you were so drawn to?
Honestly, at the time, I was just really passionate about sports. And I think I was a little bit not sure where life was going to take me, what I wanted to do. I wanted to try to start a career in sports. And then I think when I got into it, the ability to impact young people at that 18 to 21-year-old age is something that really moved me. And so I really kind of took to it, and then, here we are.
Yeah, and Michelle, he said, okay, he warned you about the realities of marrying a coach, because a lot of people, I think, don't understand that. We see where you are, again, we don't know what it took to get there.
Sure.
And it's a lot to get there.
It is a lot. And I'm a country girl. My dad worked overnight, so he'd be home. He was at everything. The whole family ate dinner together. We did everything together. And Mike was like, are you sure you want to marry me? Like, I'm going to be a coach, and we're not going to live this life. You're not going to be in South Jersey. And I was like, yes, I love you. And fast forward, holy cow.
Yeah, but when he says, we're moving, you're moving too.
Yeah, two pregnancies. We moved, the end of my pregnancies, and I moved home with my mom and dad for my first baby, like learning everything to be a mama without my husband. And my mom and dad would hear the baby crying and come in like, can I help you? And I'm like, no, it's my baby, But it's only made us stronger. And the stories, the book we'll write one day is something.
You were each other's MVPs. There were times when you might be the breadwinner.
For sure. Yeah, there was. I was in the beginning, for sure.
Yeah. All right. You were building that reputation as a rising defensive mind. Wake Forest and Notre Dame, and then that school that y'all worked for came calling.
Yeah, I think it was it was an opportunity at the time to get into the SEC, and I think that was the premier conference in the country. And being a New Jersey kid, you start looking around at where in this conference maybe fits you and your family. And we started researching College Station and the community, and it just seemed like it fit. And so we took a leap. And I tell this to people all the time. I signed the contract, got on a plane, got off the plane, and stepped foot in Texas for the first time in my life when I became the Texas A&M.
What was your first impression?
Wow, Kyle Field is large. So we flew in.
Everything in Texas is large.
We flew into Easterwood Airport, and the first thing you could see when you get off the plane at the airport is you could just see Kyle. And I was like, wow, okay, like this is something a little bit different.
And then the A&M culture. I joke all the time. I have people I work with who are Aggies. I went to UT, and of course, when you have such big universities in a state like this, wherever you went to high school, somebody was going to the other school, right?
Sure.
Right. So we all know each other, we rib each other, but it's kind of like being siblings, and we kind of like, okay, I'll make fun of you, but if anybody else makes fun of you, I got your back, right?
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, what was it like to step into that culture?
Amazing. It was, I joke and I said, from the first time we went there, and all the coach's wife had a whole day where they taught us the traditions and the histories and the songs, and I was like, okay, I might not have this ring, but I drank that juice, and I feel it. I am a proud fighting Aggie. I am.
Okay. All right. Okay. Them's fighting words right there.
Yeah, we got you outnumbered in
Duke gave you your first opportunity as a head coach.
That's right.
Then you came back. A&M says, okay, this is the guy we want to be our head coach. That had to feel really good.
Yeah, it did. It's always bittersweet. I tell this, a lot of people don't think about this side of it, but you get offered jobs, and it's not just about the job, right? It's a wife, it's a family, it's kids in high school, it's a son in college not far away.
Which you had to make some decisions of not actually joining him right away.
Yeah, I didn't join him for 2 years. The kids, when we had the opportunity, Mike says, no, I promise y'all we would stay until you both graduated. This is too hard. And the kids sat down with our family circle, some tears, some like, whoa. And it was Mike like, no, I'm not doing this. I promised you all, like, I want to be here with you. And the kids were like, no, Dad, you're going. Sorry, we're winning the championship. And the kids were like, we're going. And then our middle guy, who was a junior in high school, was like, but I'm not moving. So, Mama, you're staying with me, but Dad, peace out.
Good luck, Dad, but I'm going to be here in North Carolina.
He wanted to finish his,
and his football career there,
so that's
too.
what we did.
Yeah. You see the football team, and people have described this as, you see the football team as an extended family, and you apply your family values to it. You touched on a chance to mentor young people at that ripe age.
Without a doubt. I love that I'm Mama Elko. I'm Elko's mama to everybody. I'm Mama Elko to the players and the team, and that means something to me. And my favorite story was, and I've shared this with only a few people, was one of the players coming up to me at a point and just hugging me and crying, and Mama Elko, and I was like, okay, like these are my boys, and that means everything to me.
Yeah. When you know, it's not just about football strategy. What do you see in those young men when they look at your husband as a coach?
Proud. I am so proud. I am so proud of Mike, and I knew all along, like it wasn't going to be an easy profession, and it's not. But I knew he could do it, and he's 100. And I tell people he's 110% football and 110% family. And when he got the head coaching job for the first time at Duke, and I'm pulling it out. I know you have your necklace on, and I might have my howdy on, but when Mike became the head coach, I coined it the Elco era, and I wanted to be like all of our players with their bling. So I now have my bling. We are the Elco era because I believe in my husband, and I know we're going to do it. So when this opportunity was a dream come true, and we knew it was going to be hard, we were like, no, Dad, you're going. We're going.
Yeah.
And the Elco era is here in Kyle Field. In year 2, we were in the championship. Were you?
Well,
no. Sorry.
But should have been.
That's okay. But I love you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. How many championships have you had?
We've only been here 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that university hadn't. They've been there a long time. All right. You know, I always say you can have a really great player, but if they don't have that mentoring, you'll never know it. Right?
You're right.
You'll never know it. And I know a number of players that played through college and then went off to the NFL, and the coaching structure changed.
Yeah.
And when it changed, you didn't see the best out of them, or you saw even better out of them. And so for you, did you realize before you really got into coaching, I know you said earlier you would like to mentor them, how critical your guidance and how you treated them would be? They're very thermostatic. If you act one way, they'll act a certain way, right?
I don't think before you get in, you could really understand it, you know, until you're actually in there living it day to day. I don't think you realize the impact you have. And then I think as you start getting into it, and as the years go by, and you become, you know, higher up and involved with more kids and more people and recruiting them from the beginning and the families, I just think you start to take notice of the impact you can have in shaping. I always say it's this: you're shaping perspective on a young man leaving home for the first time, trying to figure out life. And sometimes the lessons you're teaching them, maybe they're not ready to hear initially, but I get so much after the fact, like, Coach, I see it now. Like everything you were saying.
Sometimes it came from homes where they never had any kind
everything
of
I see it now, and it makes sense now. And still close with a lot of the safeties that we coached over the years.
They also very much respect you for how you handle things. Like sometimes we know during that halftime when you're down that we always think about the coach that goes in there and goes, "What are you doing? What's going on? Yeah, what are you idiot?" Right? Whatever. Instead, you're known for saying this: "My job is to be calm and collected when they're frantic. My job is to create intensity when they're not intense. My job is to always be opposite in the moment. It's not to let the moment take me away. I am the 48-year-old guy who's supposed to see this thing with clear eyes."
Yeah, I think that's really important. I don't think you're the leader, and when you're the leader of a group of men, you can't be emotional. You have to be very calculated. You have to be very calm. You have to be able to see and provide them the leadership they need. And this happened last year. We go in the locker room down big against South Carolina and come back and win. And everyone asked me, what did you do? And what I did was just try to gather the troops. They certainly didn't need me to remind them we weren't trying to be down at halftime. We weren't playing. They were very aware of that.
Yeah.
And so you just try to go in and you just try to find the things you need to do to lead them in the direction they want to go. And I think that's what leadership is at its core.
Yeah. What does sports do, whether you ever play the game yourself, whether you just play the game in Little League, whether you just, from the sidelines or you never actually make a play? What does sports do for community, for society, for a state?
Yeah, I think it's two things. I think one, it brings people together. I say this all the time. We have a staff where our assistant head coach is a small town kid, a guy from Cuero, Texas, who went to Baylor, and the head coach is from Central New Jersey and went to Penn, right? And that's not a group of people who get together outside of sport, right? And that's what sports does. It brings people together in a really unique way. And I've said this to groups I've talked to over the years. I think it teaches you life lessons. I think it teaches you that it's okay to give everything you have, fail, get up, and do it again. And I think that resiliency that sports builds is really important in life.
With that said, high intensity, sports positions like this can sometimes cause friction between couples. What do you all do to stay grounded?
Well, I don't see him a lot, so that makes it. Yeah. We try our best to take time for each other. Right now, we're enjoying the kids in the middle while we still have them. Our oldest just graduated college, and our baby is now a senior in high school. So really, our time is family time. Yeah. But we try, even if it's at night laying in bed and just talking about the day and trying to get a laugh in or catch a show, but maybe not during the football season.
Yeah, right.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think over the years I've learned not to bring it home. I think that's what she has earned. She's my wife. She supports us. She's the rock of our family. She doesn't need me to be gone most of the day and then walk in with all of the problems I accumulated during the day. Sure. And so I think over the years I've gotten better at dropping the office at the office and kind of coming home and being present with her as best you can. And again, it's hard, but you try to do it to the best of your ability.
Michelle, thank you for trusting me and allowing us to do this interview. When I saw her at that ladies' night out, I said, hey, Michelle, give me a call. I'll be watching you. The eyes of Texas are upon you to make this happen. And then you said,
call me.
Yeah. I said, because if you do this interview, it'd be great. If you don't,
Gig 'em.
But anyway, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
All
this
right,
is an
and
honor.
we'll see y'all. It'll be sooner rather than later. We'll see you pretty soon.
Yeah, Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, hook 'em. Okay, hook 'em. I need to get a blinged out. Clearly, my Longhorn needs to be a little more blinged out than this right now.
Mike got it for me. It's
okay.
It's a little bigger.
All right. Hey, Vince Young, can you get me a more studded out Longhorn?